The Marques, land of good food. The Marques region is located in central Italy, on the Adriatic Sea, with 170 kilometers of coastline. It is a small region with fewer than 1.5 million inhabitants and is divided into 4 provinces. Ancona is the capital city. Geographically speaking, this region offers 3 main typology: the coast with its share of the sea, the central hilly area, and the mountains. The climate here is temperate, with spring and fall rains and dry summers. There are many protected areas, parks, and natural reserves. The population. Within this geographic framework, man has worked the land for millennia, molding his surroundings or adapting to existing conditions. The inhabitants live in small towns or villages perched along the ridges of the many hills. Many of these are fortified medieval towns, and they all have a story to tell, where the narrow streets and small squares brief ancient history, often trace back to the Greeks or Romans. The people don't care to talk about themselves much or show off. They have a close and direct connection to the land. The fact that life is calmer here, both on a social level as well as on a day-to-day level, that there is still a sense of pleasure in good food and good wine, has made the Marques region a venue for a new kind of tourism, which puts a high priority on the environment and good living in a tranquil setting. Food and wine production. The Marques countryside is peppered with farmhouses, because for centuries the farmer lived right on the land he farmed. In springtime or in summer, the landscape is transformed into a painting, with precise geometric shapes, well-defined borders, and vivid colors. Hard-working and conscious, the farmer knows that the products of the land are precious and that nothing can go to waste. His values came from a world being lost as industrial processes take over, but which the modern world is trying to regain. Raise sheep to have milk and cheese, cultivate a vineyard to have good wine, farm a piece of land to have legumes during the winter, raise a pig and eat natural feed to make a good prosciutto, obtain a good supply of olive oil, not from the supermarket but directly from the oil mill. This is how the old-style Marchigiano thinks and lives his life. He descends from an ancient farm culture, thanks to which we can still have products that are simple, natural and good. Artisanal products of quality rather than anonymous products of the food industry. Pasta and oil, prosciutto and cheese, grains and legumes. Grain, and in particular wheat, has been growing the Marques for ages. In modern times, the fact that both durum wheat as well tender wheat grow well here has allowed pasta production to flourish in artisanal laboratories, where both dry semolina pasta and fresh egg dough pasta is made. Here one finds the finest maccheroncini, which cook in just 1 minute, as well as durum wheat pasta made using traditional methods, from grinding the flour to drying the pasta. The Marques produce only a modest amount of oil, because the cold winter winds sometimes prove too severe a test for the olive groves. Nevertheless, the oil that is produced is of excellent quality. In fact, regional extra virgin olive oils often do very well in terms of market price, because they reach exceptional levels of quality. In the past, it was a necessity for every family to raise their own pig. Nowadays, in spite of growing industrialization, there is still a high degree of respect and appreciation for natural livestock raising practices in the Marques region. The final product will only be good in fact if the animal is fed natural feeds and if it is allowed to follow its natural growth cycles. The quality of the life cycle of an animal has a direct impact on the quality of its meat. The same is true for cheese production, in general pecorino or sheep's milk cheese. The methods used today are again going back to the manual rather than industrial processing. Seafood. The Marques eastern shore faces the central part of the Adriatic Sea and thus has ample and immediate access to the rich bounty of seafood available in these waters. Over the course of 4 centuries, different customs became traditions embedded in the culture of the people living all along the coast. Here tables are often graced with fresh sea bass, dentex, sea bream, John Dory, cod, anchovies, sardines, crustaceans, mollusks, to name just a few. The most important dishes include the brodator fish soup, an important dish with many local variations, which at one time was prepared by the fishermen themselves, using the smaller and less prized catch of the day. We must also mention the stoccafish all'anconetana, baked cod and potatoes Ancona style, a traditional preparation with a great history dating back to the 1500s and the period of trade with the Republic of Venice. Vins and wines. Two principal wines characterize the Central Marques area, the Rosso Conero and the Verdicchio dei Castelli di Jesi. The Rosso Conero is obtained from Montepulciano grapes, and the vineyards graze the land just south of Ancona, right in the lee of the Conero promontory. Strict regulations govern every aspect of production, from the maximum allowable yield per acre to the winemaking practices in the wineries to the final characteristics of the product. The Verdicchio wines are produced in the small towns dotting the hills surrounding the town of Jesi. This well-structured white wine is produced from the vine by the same name. Several different wines are made from Verdicchio grapes, from sparkling to dry and even a sweet passito. Of the various vines native to Italy, this is certainly one of the most important.